also want to say that imagine 2 years after the revolution, which is not finished. In fact, yesterday the repression forces have shot people in Gafsa, in the phosphate, in the mining area in Tunisia. So this World Social Forum has taken so many resources and efforts while something new was ongoing, like in terms of building a civil society. As somebody said, a certain model of civil society which might not be appropriate for Tunisia because it's for many reasons, historical, cultural, and so on. But also, so many youth wanted to do something after the revolution. And they were pushed into making some administrative tasks, Christian has talked about, without dealing with the political side of it. And it's a really historical waste, or so. I don't know how to explain. The other thing is the state presence in the forum. The state is extremely present here. Like at least 10 types of ministries have been organizing and collaborating with during the WSF process. But the state in Tunisia is part of the problems that we have regarding the revolution, regarding the non-development and things like that. So it's really surreal, especially in the last weeks, because we didn't know, in fact, what kind of collaboration that was in the agenda. Probably they knew, the organizers, but they didn't, of course, tell most of the people. So here we have all different kinds of states and all different kinds of police. So most of these police have never given accountability regarding what they did during the revolution. So also about the democratic agenda. As most of you know, there was a lot of uprisings, and all of a sudden somebody or a group of people were saying, okay, let's make elections, we need democracy. Yeah, this is what happened, and the Islamists won. And the Islamists were not in the revolution, like not on the streets, not preparing them. But they were in jail and so on, and they were abroad in Europe. So this, like, you can see the forum, the World Social Forum, as like, of course I'm not talking about complot, conspiracy and things like that, but what is happening is a lot of people are demobilized from civil society. And I have been in the process, as Christian said, and also it's a problem about the imaginary. How can we think of organizing collective action together if we also get colonized by the way in organizing civil society? So a little bit what you said. So I know I started very strong, say another lie is possible. I hope now you understand a little bit better what I mean by another lie is possible, and thank you.
Thank you very much for interrupting me to make that very important contribution. Thank you. I think, yeah, you raised a very important point. The majority of us here are not Tunisians, and we need to be aware of that. And so thank you for giving us that kind of insight into the situation here. It's very important. We were also hoping that Ramdana Ben-Amour was going to be...
I wanted also to say, because there was no translation here, he told me all the way that he's not coming, but I know that partly it's because of that he's not speaking English, and you know.
We do have translation.
Yeah, but he didn't know. I mean, it can happen, you know, like some people don't feel comfortable, you know. So.
Well, I'm sorry that's obviously been a problem of miscommunication there, and apologies for that. Okay.
Did you listen to the whole discussion? You came already at the beginning.
Maybe 20 minutes after.
Okay.
Okay. I think I'd like to propose the following: that we take a few minutes, maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes, to talk to our neighbours, just reflect on what's been said, what kind of questions we might want to raise, and then we'll open up for a kind of general discussion. Does that sound okay? Okay.
and interesting discussions going on in the room, but and I kind of hate to stop them, but at the same time I think it's important that we all kind of try and share what we talked about. We have about half an hour left, and so I'd like to suggest that we just open up for a general discussion, focusing on the questions that have been raised in the presentations, and then perhaps we can also move to consider ways in which we might kind of work together to collaborate to enable different kinds of knowledge production and to enable collaboration and sharing. So I'd like to just open up the floor for who'd like to contribute, and I'd like everybody to, well, unless you don't want to, but I'd like to encourage you to state who you are and where you're from, and yeah, bear in mind that we are very many different people here who come from different backgrounds, experiences, and so to speak in a way that
attempt to be clear and to make sure clear where you're coming from. So, yeah.
I'm Jerome from CIDTM, Committee for the Abolition of Third World Debt. And I'm very interesting. I just arrived now because I met a friend of me who talked to me about that workshop, and she said it was very interesting what was happening here. And in fact, I'm here because my organization, who participates at the World Social Forum since the beginning of that story, has that kind of debate also. So please, everybody who took note or will do article about that, please exchange with me, because we'll have that debate in order to know if our organization continue in the same way at participation. So we maybe will change our strategy of participation at the Social Forum. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. I know a couple of people have asked for the word, but I would like to encourage a woman next to speak, because I think we should try to encourage gender parity in the discussion. It's always men who take the words first, and so I'd like to invite any of the women in the room to do first, and then we'll come back to you. Okay?
Sorry, I just arrived. It's a very good and important question, because all of us, if we appear, we want a very social forum. First point, to participate, we need money. 1,000 euros just to have a workshop. How can we do it? My organization is no drops, there's some one without drops. So, what do? We always let experts speak, or the less, the without. How can they speak? First question. So I think it's a very good question. So many social forums, from Porto Alegre up to now. And every time we have this same question. We are the without. So how can we participate? 1 foot inside, 1 foot outside. It's very important. In 2 years ago, Dakar, we were out of the social forum in neighborhoods for inhabitants. And I think it's very important to share one side in, but the first point is money. Who has the money? Who share the money?
Thank you.
Just a few points. First of all, Piran Azad, born in Tehran, Iran, living in Germany, Berlin. Few points. When we are talking about decolonization of the social forum, it means you are going to make it free from the hand of the colonial power, the so-called, for example, IC or something else, the institution of the social forum. You cannot, and we cannot decolonize it with the method of the colonizer. Look at this session. You held this session here, and you bring few, 4, 5 experts, so-called experts, that they tell us, and we have a little time, and they have half an hour time to, or 20 minutes time to talk. So it's not the same method as the institution they use it. You cannot change it. That's it. So you are not, and that's the method of the liberation front of the colonial side. The government of all the African that you are here, and it is Habib Bourguiba. They were the liberation front, and you are liberating. You are the liberating. You want to liberate us. That's not going on. That's the end of that era.